Right, Reggie and
faces these
Mudtooth.
days.
Lovely.
Things must be getting a mite easier out there.
Oh, look how much older he is.
I'm Reginald Malone, but my friends call me Reggie. You can too. Heard the old founder dragged you down into the war on some mysterious business of his. I'm glad to see one of you came back safe and sound. Can't say the same for Ford. Clementine neither. Wish she hadn't gone and followed you. I don't suppose you know where they are now. Taken? I don't like the sound of that. Well, I hope you don't give up on him. Ford now. I suspect he'll come back when he's good and ready. But folks are worried about Clementine. I have been known to tell a story or two. Though old Mudtooth does give me a run for my money. Or did you mean that I collect the stories? Because I do that too. And I'd love to hear your tale, traveler. Oh, now that sounds like the start of a damn good story. What brought you out here?
The root attacked my home, everyone else died. Really? The backstory of our character, actually.
I hear that. Why, if half of old Mudtooth's tales are true, the world used to be a hell of a lot more connected. It's past time we took that back from the root, too. You're in the right place, traveler. How about your friend? How'd you meet her? So you, owe her a debt? Or maybe you paid it off by getting her here. Hey, what do I know? I tell you what, though, ain't no logic keeping tabs with people's lives. We look out for each other because we're human, yeah? It's the only way that makes sense to me. The only thing that makes humanity worth being around. Speaking of your friend, I heard she came in with a nasty case of root rot. What happened to you two out there?
Root rot. Now that's a thing that we did not hear or see in the previous game. Kind of looks like the prima macula disease from almost Hugo in Plague Tale. Just the visual part of it anyway, nothing else.
Son of a gun. Those sneaky bastards just don't know when to quit. And I'm real sorry to hear that, traveler. It must have been one hell of an experience. I'm glad you made it. Well, don't you worry. We've dealt with nastier things here, believe me. I reckon she'll come through just fine. What about you? What do you hope to find out here?
I'm hoping to also come by here at some point and warm up the this experience here. I really fucking dislike this shotgun. It just rubs me the wrong way.
You're a good friend, traveler. I hope you stick around. This town could use folks like you. So now I've got a measure of you. Is there anything
Sounds
I
like
can
this
do for
town
you?
only has folks like us.
Where would you like to start?
Oh yeah, he doesn't like to eavesdrop, but he eavesdropped also in the previous game quite a bit.
Old as teeth, friend. Old as teeth. Everything we know comes from Founder Ford. That title don't come from nowhere. He was there at the start. When the world ended, about 120 years ago, give or take a decade, Ford and some survivors took shelter in old Ward 13 over there. I don't know how many wards there were, but they were all part of something called the Dreamer Project that went bad. Real bad.
Ambition killed humanity. I don't think he's gonna be able to tell anything about the Dreamer project. At least he made it sound like he doesn't really know what it actually was like. I still want to test it.
Ford and Clementine are the only ones what really know.
Yeah.
And they don't like to talk about it. But old Reggie's got a gift for collecting stories. And I've gleaned a few things. At the wards, see, they connected people to machines that made them dream about other worlds. But these worlds were real, and the dreamers were seeing through the eyes of someone that lived there. Sounds like a bridge too far, don't it? It did for me too. At least until I met Clementine. She was one of the dreamers, if you can believe it. The only one still alive, as far as I can tell. She says she got sucked out somehow, dragged into her dream world before the root came to Earth. I don't understand it much. I reckon she don't either. But she found herself in a place called Reesum.
That was the realm
covered
in the
snow
previous
and
games, DLC.
inhabited by giant intelligent rats. Don't know how she survived. But I imagine it has to do with those powers of hers. Hey, that's the story I still haven't gotten out of her.
I just got a dumb... Okay, so in the previous games as DLC, Harsgard was saying how the dreamers, they were virtually putting themselves into other worlds by, you know, being hooked into the machines and like dreaming themselves into the other world or the other dimensions, I guess. That might explain as to why the crystal earlier, the vault crystal, the vault stone, sucked Clementine in after it was requesting like maintenance or like sustenance or something, you know? Maybe an idea coming here. What if the Clementine we have here that is unable to age is actually virtually connected by the Clementine somewhere else? And this Clementine is a fake Clementine and the actual real one is still, you know, he hooked up the machines dreaming all this. Or dreaming her participation in, you know, where she is now. But I don't think that that's correct, but it's just an idea.
Oh, well, watch out, world. We got ourselves a badass over here. There are rumors. Some say he made a deal with the root, and that's why he's so hell-bent on stopping him. Some say he was experimented on in the Dreamer Project. Some say he found some kind of magic out there.
I think it's
in
the
years
latter.
when he was traveling the world.
He made it sound
Truth
like
is,
he took some
nobody
kind of
knows.
medicine or some...
Maybe not even Ford himself.
He
Personally,
found some kind of
I think
shortcut
Ford's
to like
just tough as
longevity,
dirt
and there was also
refuses to
a
die.
price on it or something. He himself worded that, you know, like he was giving this like analogy of like, you know how there's like different things in life that you can consume, and they provide you with some benefits and, you know, disbenefits, or they cost a price or something, and then you receive something in turn, like, you know, the normal thing. He was using that analogy to be like, well, I did one of those things, and now I'm also like, you know, eternal, essentially. So like,
The story's pretty long, friend. Let me know if you get tired of the telling. After the world fell,
no, I don't.
see, Founder Ford carried the whole burden of what happened on his shoulders. Tell the truth, I don't think he ever put that burden down. At first, nothing. He pressed on with the work of helping others survive. If you ask me, that was the best thing he could have done. And it never should have stopped. Maybe he wouldn't have if Evelyn hadn't. See, Evelyn was his wife, and she was something special. She could hear the root, see what they saw. At first, she thought she was
Evelyn
going
was the
insane.
name of the root mother.
But then she started using it, spying on the dead wood. And she saw something coming. Something big. She saw a monster, something the ward, the whole city couldn't handle. And only one way out. She communed with the root, I guess you'd call it. Melded her mind to theirs and drove the monster off. But the root swallowed her, body and mind, until there was nothing left of Evelyn Ford. Her husband lost it then. He left the ward for months, sometimes years at a time, wandering the worlds trying to find something, anything that could stop the root. And one day, he just didn't come back. Well, now my story's not through yet. The Fords, they had a daughter, Nadine. She was maybe 17 when her mother disappeared. Too young to run the ward, but when her pa was gone, folks would ask her their questions instead. Then one day, she was just in charge of everything. Nadine had her own daughter, Ellen, who really made us who we are today. Commander Ellen Ford inherited her mother's pragmatism, her grandfather's doggedness, and her grandmother's willingness to make hard choices. So whenever someone showed up, dehydrated, starving, half mad from loss, she took them in, taught them a trade in medicine and supplies, gave them a family.
I could listen to him talk for hours.
So you were paying attention. I owe a lot to Ellen Ford, and we all do. And I miss her something fierce, let me tell you. She was a force, that woman. Founder Ford came back once. Did I mention that? Almost 60 years ago, right after his daughter Ellen's mother passed away. Ellen couldn't have been more than 18 at the time. But she told him the war didn't need him. Didn't have room for some legend who was just as likely to leave as to lead. I reckon Founder Ford saw the wisdom of that, because a while later, he left again and didn't return for a long time. When he finally did, he wasn't leading us no more. He was content to leave the ward in better hands, Ellen's hands.
That would be our participation in the previous game, when we saved him from the Yesha prison.
Well, she fell sick some time ago. Most of us have lost folks without any chance to say goodbye. But we got that with Ellen. Why, she even made things right with her grandfather before the end, or so I hear. The two of them together put Bo in charge of the ward. No one was more surprised about that than Bo. But you know what? He's the right man for the job. Ain't no one loves the ward, loves these people more than the kid who was raised by him. He's gonna do all right. Oh, about 20-odd years
This actually
ago,
is an important
we
question.
had almost nothing left. Trapped in Ward 13 with nowhere to go and the route getting worse all around us. Then this stranger wanders in out of the storm, makes friends, picks up some gear, and damned if they don't take the fight to the root.
That would be us.
I still don't know if that wanderer was crazy or brave or both, but they did it. They beat the root, and things got better day by day. Once it seemed safe to live outside again, Commander Ford made plans to build this town here. The Wanderer was on a mission from the start. Said something about getting to the tower on the old atoll out there. Sounded crazy the first time I heard it, but turns out that tower was one of the old wards. The Wanderer's path wasn't easy though. Our Wanderer had to track down Founder Ford just to find a way in, and that meant following his trail. Well, Ford had seemed to have gotten himself mixed up in another world's affairs, helping a rebellion out here, and he was imprisoned for it. Now, no one here knew that, but the Root Mother knew. And that's who our Wanderer left to see. The Root Mother's got a story all her own, and I don't know half of it. Before she was the Root Mother, she was Evelyn Ford. That's right, the Founder's wife. Bound herself to the root, she did, and it changed her. Turned her into something else. But when the Wanderer showed up, she pulled herself out. The Root Mother, or whatever she called herself after that, sent our Wanderer down a trail of sorrow, at the end of which was the Founder himself. The Wanderer freed him, and used his knowledge to get into the tower, and destroy the last Dreamer. Or what we thought was the last dreamer anyway. It did weaken the root for a time, but I guess that weren't the whole story.
He has given more background context than anything else in this game yet has given. Such valuable dialogue from the previous game. There's hardly any events here that I actually didn't knew exactly in the previous game, besides the name of some of the characters. Like Ford's wife's name, that was something that I wasn't sure if it was Nadine or if it was Evelyn. But Evelyn was the name of the grandmother, and Nadine was the name of Evelyn's daughter then, which is the mother of Ellen. So that is now very clear. Although that would have also been clear if I just kept reading the journals, because they also mentioned them several times.
So, the dreamer was dead. The storm subsided. But the roots, they were still around. Then Founder Ford tells us about the oldest ward, the first one, where the Dreamer Project began. He hoped there might be some clue there as to why the Deadwood was still coming to our world. So our wanderer goes a-hunting. Oh, they found more than even old Ford bargained for. You ain't wrong. Place was full of doors, and I'm not talking about the quiet humankind. One of these doors led to the world of Reesum, where the Wanderer found Clementine. Clementine opened a door what nobody else could have opened. And inside? I hate to admit it, but I don't know what they found inside. All I know is the root stopped coming when the Wanderer and Clementine were through. They'd done it. Saved the whole damn world. Just making sense of things. Stories make us who we are. If we don't share them, don't learn from them, we're just bouncing around in the dark. I could tell you stories all day.
God damn it. Maybe he's gonna
Only
have
the
something
best
more to
for
say
my
later.
friends.
Oh, look at that. He looks, Man, I hate seeing people age. It's so sad every time, you know? Even if it's completely unnatural. Of course, it's the fucking Admiral ring. Lol. When taking fatal damage instead of dying, the wearer's health will drop to 1, cleanse all negative status effects, and movement speed will increase by 25% for 10 seconds. Can only happen once every 2 minutes. How the hell is this? Can I interact with the challenge, the revive that I have? Right, I should have gone to him earlier, because goddamn, he sells a lot more rings in this game just by default. Missing health is converted to 10 grey health per second. It reduces grey health regeneration by 90%. You can throw a pipe bomb? I need to see what this looks like. Right, I think I'm gonna be very frugal or mindful with the scrap. I'm just gonna buy only this because I already have fire damage somewhere. And then I'm gonna get also this because I wanna see what that looks like. Let's go back.
All right, then. Take care.
Alright, and now we are gonna sit here for the next, I don't know, 10 minutes listening to this guy talk, if he is gonna say anything as long amount of time as in the fucking previous game.
What? Hey, get away from my stew! Oh, it's you.
Hello.
What? No, of course not. Never seen you before in my life. I just figure you're you. You know? And I'm me, and that's where we are. So, what can old Mudtooth do for you, huh? Well, shoot, traveler, I might have some answers for you. Quite a bit, stranger. The name's Mudtooth, and ain't nobody been around longer or seen more than I have.
Ford.
Except maybe old Ford, of course, but that old
Literally,
mugger
okay. Yeah, I was gonna say.
cheats. Anyway, he hardly
Ford
tells
definitely
any of
has seen
his stories. Only 3 reasons why folks come to see me, and that's my stories or my stew. Yeah.
Young
So,
one.
youngin', what'll it be? That's so? Huh. Did I tell you about the stories yet? That one too, eh? Well, that's it, ain't it? My stories and my stew. Listen, you sure I said there were 3 reasons? 'Cause there's only 2, and that's certain. Huh. Only 2 reasons folks come to see old Mudtooth, and you know both of them. I'm pretty sure your memory's slipping.
I think this is right, by the way.
You bet your apple I can, but these ain't just
Apple?
stories, stranger. They're objective retellings of legitimate occurrences what you wouldn't believe. Now, where to start? Ain't no one on this planet more beautiful or dangerous than the Moth Queen. She rules
That's
an
what
old
you call
swamp
the
about
Isekai
100
Queen now?
miles off in, that direction.
Oh, yes,
Folks
I
say if
never
you
in the
climb
previous
one of
game
these
actually
here
went to
towers
see
on a
what
clear night,
the
you can
Isekai
see
Queen
the
did with the
swamp
Heart
lights
of the
a
Guardian.
flashing.
I should have gone
But
back to her and talked to her at
them
some other point in the game
ain't
after.
no ordinary swamp lights. And she ain't no ordinary queen. She don't lead her people, who really ain't even people, come to think of it. Anyways,
They are
the
Beatles.
Moth Queen draws her folk to her like a... Well, like a
Moth
moth,
to the
I
flame.
guess. That's how the saying goes. Anyway, she captures folks with her beauty and her mothy pulchritude, and she never lets them go. She infects their mind so they never want to leave, and she turns them into something else. If you head off that way, keep your wits about you. 'Cause that swamp used to be a city as big as this'n. But no more. No more.
So when has he started telling stories of events that he has not even participated himself in? In Remnant 1, he only told stories where he participated as one of the main characters. And now he just told a random story of something that he has never even witnessed with his own eyes. He literally just told the story of just hearsay.
Ho, 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 ho! Here's a good one. You heard about the old
From
wards,
another realm
right?
as well.
Hell, you should have. You're on top of one. The wards were where the root were born. Government experiments, you understand. Well, the oldest one, Ward Goose Egg it's called, was where it all started. And that's where it was worst, see? So this mad scientist by the name of, let me see,
Scarn?
what was his name? Leto was his
Oh,
name.
never mind. What?
He says
So
there's
it's not
only
the Prime
one
Ward.
way we can stop what we made and save the world. So he flies his heliopopper. They flew back in those days, see, that's what they were built for. And he looks down at the ward where the root are pouring out like ants. And he says, blow that sucker up. And boy, they did. Blew the
Ugh.
whole damn thing. Didn't stop the
I need to
root,
sleep more.
though. I mean, obviously. Stop me if I told you this one already. I do miss
Are you
the
sure?
days when you could find the stuff the old world used to make. canned foods, spiced chocolates, electronical music boxes. Oh, found this old can of what's-it once. As in, we literally did not know what was in it. The can weren't open, but the label had long rubbed off. Finding that was like all our birthdays at the same time. That can must have been 100 years old, banged up and bloated. Could have been anything in there. So, my boys did what any good family would do. They dared me to drink it. Well, I ain't one to back down from something stupid. So, I grabbed the can and said something sensually flattering about their mamas. Then, I popped the top. Woohoo! Damn stuff hissed and fizzled like some kind of brown sludge demon. Smelled like one, too. I chugged the whole damn thing. The thick goop tasted like scented sewer water. Burned my brain like a chili pepper. I nearly puked with each swallow, but I weren't gonna give them the satisfaction. When I threw the can aside, the boys cheered. I opened my mouth, flashed them a smug smile, and my teeth was all stained the darkest mud brown you ever seen. Ha, they stayed that way for at least a month. And that's where I got my name.
That's a lie. That's a lie. So he's one of these fucking storytellers. Huh. He changes his stories whenever he feels fit, depending on the person he tells them to. Or whatever mood he happens to be on. In Remnant 1, he told us that the name Mudtooth came from him actually defending against the Root one day, very ferociously killing like hundreds of them or something, and then at some point he was fighting a few Root enemies, like point blank range, and he ran out of ammo, so they launched at him and he beat them. So they jumped at him, and he actually started biting them. And that's where he got the name Mudtooth. Because he was beating the fucking brown suckers with his teeth.
Oh,
at least that's what the
here's a
story in
good
that game was like.
Back when the earth fell, a dragon, a real root dragon, took up residence over there. Just like in old fairy
Stinged.
tales.
I
It
killed that.
started in them wards, see? Your eyes only hush-hush military conspiracizing farms and whatnot. That's where they made all their weapons and did experiments. And just like those tales, it took a what now? And just like those tales, it took a what now? It took a night to slay this dragon. Oh ho ho, but the dragon was crafty, all right. He knew the knight needed help, so the dragon gave it to him.
Oh.
Yep. The dragon took the form of a talking tree and told the knight if they wanted to slay that dragon, they'd have to slay all these other beasts first. A cyclops, a living statue, what do you call them? Golem. Well, the knight slayed them all. But the thing was, these beasts weren't protecting the dragon. They were holding him back. So when the dragon finally did reveal itself, it was too strong for the knight. And it took him, body and mind, and made their strength its own.
What the hell?
Sure can. Let's see.
Also, he doesn't have a shop in this
I
game.
ever tell you the secret
Why does he not have a
behind
shop?
my stew? Well, I ain't gonna.
Can I buy your
But
stew?
I will tell you how it came to be, yeah? The original recipe comes from my ma, of course.
That
But
I
that
knew.
ain't the end of the story. My ma made a fine stew, but it weren't nothing to tell tales about. Not until the day me and the Crazy Eight got ourselves trapped in one of them old, medieval, meditating... We was trapped in one of them medicinal compounds full of pharmaceuticals and whatever you call them. And I had nothing but a dead coney and an onion on my belt, which weren't good for much but were the style at the time. So we scrounged for ingredients. Well, them hospitalities ain't no good for food, but they do have some pretty mean spices lying around if you know what you're doing, which I do. That night was the best stew any of us ever had in our lives. Kept us going for days, until finally the dead wood outside got bored and took off. And that, friend, is the same stew I make today. I even use the same ingredients as them back in the day medicinals. Better even.
Did you put cocaine in your stew? Maybe that's why it's so
Here's a good
delectable.
one. I ever tell you how the world fell in the first place? Well, sit down, friend, 'cause there ain't no one knows what really happened but me. It started in them wards, see? Secret military industrial complexes and whatnot. That's where they made all their weapons and did their experiments. Now, the root weren't meant to reproduce, see? They was built as a weapon, but then they done breeded and got out. And well, we all know what happened after that. Only reason the root stopped was 'cause the Wanderer, well, he flamethrower-sized their queen, see? Over in that tower on the atoll, so's they couldn't breed no more. Now, listen. You might hear Ford tell you something different, but you look at the two of us and ask which has obviously been around longer. Which of us is most like to have been there, huh? You ask yourself that, and then you just look my way, 'cause that's who it is. Sure can. Well, let's see. You've been introduced to that girl Clementine.
Introduced.
Powerful woman she is, but she weren't always so. She's near as old as Ford is, if you can believe it. Even older than my old bones. How about it? Those two have a lot in common, including traveling to other worlds. Clementine, see, she was born on Earth, but she spent most of her life on a stone. What? Oh, let me see here. You see, she was born on Earth, but Clementine spent 100 years on a snow world called Resome. They call it that on account of some you read and some you don't. Anyway, what was she doing all that time? Training. See, Resome's full of giant talking rats. They got warrior rats and midwife rats and even mystic rats. Clementine, she learned under the tutelage
And
of
small
a
and Ornstein
two-headed
rats,
mystic
too.
named Sebum. Taught her everything she knows. She don't talk about it, of course, on account of Sebum's a wanted man.
Oh yeah,
Sebum
Sebum was one of those rodents in that ship
I met the
that was
man
selling
myself, the rat.
weapons. Yeah, that's who Sebum was. I remember that actually. I remember it only from making the highlights, because when I made the highlights on that moment, I went back and listened to his name and his talk more precisely.
Let me see here. Ho-ho!
Kind of an odd
so,
mention, I'd
I
say,
gotten separated from the Crazy Eight. My gang, you see. We've been chased by these big old deadwood, taller than a man with 10 times as many pointy bits. Whew, nasty fellers. The others, they holed up in this old scrap building and slammed the door. Left me for dead. There was no way in, but there were these old pipes underground. Sewage, judging by the stink. But I weren't gonna stay out there with deadwood creeping round, so I held my breath and crawled through what must have been half a mile. I come busting out of the pipes and right into the middle of the Crazy Eight. They were holding me a funeral. I stand up, covered in mud and God knows what else, and just smile at 'em. And that, friend, is where I got the name Mudtooth. Don't think I told you this one yet. Let me tell you what those folks are up to in that atoll, that Ward 10 and 7. That was where they did their experimenting, see? They made weapons for the USA. That's what this land was called back then. And the root, you see, they were cloned. Yes, sir. They found root D and A trapped in red amber, and they done built themselves an army. But this army, it got out of hand and turned against them. Couldn't tell the difference between the Usanayans and whatever else there was. Pretty good weapon, if you ask me. Nigh on slaughter the whole damn world. Makes you think, though, what else were them Usanayans capable of? Maybe it's for the best they ain't around no more.
Ah.
Don't think I told you this one yet. You met old Wally yet? The boy ain't right.
Old Wally?
Not in a mudder way. He just ain't right. Talks to the root, he says. I reckon I know why, too. I ain't never told him this, but, I was there at his birth. Don't believe me? Ha! You wouldn't be the first. But it's true. That boy Wally was born under a blood moon. Always strange, they say. Harbinger of changeification and whatnot. I heard him cry out his first breath I did, and I says to myself, that ain't natural. Like the squall of some blackbird. Caw-caw! Don't tell him I said it. He wouldn't believe it anyway. Or maybe he would, come to think of it. You talked to him yet? Boy ain't right.
Or people to talk to.
Tell the truth, I'm a bit dry-mouthed on my tails, if you can believe that. Come back later. We'll talk some more.
He might actually have... Oh, he does have... Wait. No, I think I needed to go back dialogue options and then I would be able to see his shop.
This old mudder might have... Town, you call it. Back in my day, a place like this wouldn't be considered much more than a camp or a bivouac. You might call it.
What now?
This ain't no town.
You mean an evacuation zone?
But
what?
It is a fine place to set up kip. I lived by myself for years, see? Had myself a... what you calls it? Hockapatopter.
Helicopter, you said.
Could fly
Heliosasopter.
It could. Anywho, I was living by myself when my boy Brabus showed up saying we should move on. Told me it wasn't safe for me to be living like I've been living no more. He told me.
I kind of feel bad for shooting his ass off in the previous game
nice
when I had the chance.
Here. Took some getting used to.
I think I would have been able to actually avoid the Brabus encounter in the first game on my randomly regenerated playthrough of Earth if I just went a different path and went to him first before killing Brabus. There was probably some other way to do that.
Well, Brabus, he's my son. 'Twere his idea to come join this little shanty town. Not a bad idea it was, neither. He's over yonder at the shooting range, if you're looking to find him. Not much of a talker, though, that one. Guess he didn't get his old man's gift for gab, eh? I'm always here to answer them, if you got them. I can tell you right now, you won't be disappointed.
Disappointed. Nice. Oh my god, he sells fucking lot. What? Last 60 minutes? What? Okay, when we start getting more scrap, I'm just gonna stack on these. health by 6.66, stamina by 6.66, and movement speed by 6.66. You can probably stack this with this, so you get even more movement speed. But then again, it is a pretty subtle amount. 10%, 6.6%, it's not like, you know, world's difference. But they last a long amount. These are all like 60-minute buffs. Stamina recovery by 20 per second and reduces stamina regen penalty by 50%. What? These are very strong. Increases armor by 30 for 60 minutes. Reduces encumbrance by 10 last 60 minutes. Regenerates 1 health per second last 60 minutes and stays on effect after death. Wait, only 1 concoction can be active at a time. Ah, they fucking specified this. Fuck. I should have read the bottom text first. Crap. So you can't stack them, unfortunately, without modding or something. This looks to be a whistle of sorts, yet no sound emerges when it's blown. It's almost as if its purpose lies in something beyond our auditory senses. Right, knowing From Software games, something like this is actually valuable for some purpose. But as to what? I haven't laid my eyes on one of these in years. Back when I was in the military, these little gadgets proved to be mighty handy. Obviously, I have absolutely no idea what this might be used for as of yet. Right. Does he have one that gives experience gain?
I'll be seeing you then.